Jamie, that was quite the intro.
I know, but I think awesome PE teachers like us deserve an intro like that.
I mean, we aren't PE teachers yet.
I mean, close enough. Speaking of teaching, doesn't it scare you just a little bit?
I mean, not really, because if you think about it, Dr. Kate and the rest of the kinesiology departments really prepared us for great success.
You know, Greer, you couldn't be more right. Especially after reading up on Carol Weinstein's text, I really learned a lot about physical settings and motivation in the classroom.
Me too. I think the most important part that she talks about is how making the classroom both comfortable and functioning is a way to show that you care to your students.
Right, so even though we'll be working mainly in gyms and possibly outdoors, we still have to find a way to set boundaries and make it a safe learning environment.
Absolutely, and that ties in Carol Weinstein's 6 functions of a classroom: security and shelter, social contact, symbolic identification, task instrumentality, pleasure, and growth. So one aspect of a physical setting in PE is to have boundaries. And boundaries are for the students to be able to walk around and have their own area, but also to keep them contained so that you can see them throughout the activity and so you can give them instruction and they can hear you. So since we're in a tennis court gym instead of a basketball gym, we're going to use the tennis court line as our boundary today. So this line will be a front boundary, the tennis court line will be the back boundary, and the far right line over here is going to be our back boundary. And the students will stay in this area while we do the activity, and they will be able to socially interact throughout the activity, but also have enough space that they won't hit anyone. And also,
Judith Rink has good talk on promoting personal growth. She talks a lot about having a positive and caring attitude, rewarding good behavior, making the activities intentional, being a good listener, charting individual growth, and learning students' names even if they are in a class of 100.
100 students?
Yeah, what's wrong? Is that too much to handle?
I mean, 100 students is a lot, don't you think?
No way. Come on, Greer. You got to find a way to get motivated. I have just the clip for you.
One, failure is positive feedback. Failure is positive feedback. And is you're either going to be a loser or you're going to be a learner. When you stop trying to be perfect and realize I'm not perfect, I can't walk on water, and you commit to excellence, not perfection, you realize that sports performance is not good or bad. If I'm good or bad, I'm up and down emotionally and mentally. It's good and bad. When you see it as good and bad, you're more consistent. We got to work fast and with tempo because tempo wins games. Take your sport, find out what your rhythm, your tempo, your pace is for your sport, and duplicate that in the weight room with how you train. Perspective. Are you in or are you into? Are you just in your team or are you into being with your team? Turning your have-tos into want-tos. Anytime you use the word I have to go to the gym. No, you want to go to the gym. Another one I'd add up here are the 3 magic letters, Y-E-T. Once someone says, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it, and they forget to add on yet, they beat themselves.
See? I told you.
You know what, Jamie? I might not remember all 100 names yet, but I will eventually.
Yes, you will. Brian Kane is such a great mental teacher and will really help us as coaches to motivate our players.
But you know what? We also need to be able to motivate our players in a less competitive level.
Yeah, that's why I really like what Carol Weinstein says in her readings about motivation. She keeps it nice and simple, but it's very effective.
I really like how she says teachers should be enthusiastic about daily activities in class because sometimes class can be so slow, especially when the teacher is bored.
Yeah, no kidding. And when teachers put in maximum effort, it really shows the relationship and positive outcomes.
She also talks about providing opportunities for success, and one of these ways is by having every student set a reasonable goal at the beginning of the year.
Also, we are to help our students recognize the importance of physical activities.
Hey, isn't that NASP Standard 5?
Bingo. In case y'all are wondering, NASP Standard 5 states that the physically literate individual recognizes the value of physical activity for health, enjoyment, challenge, self-expression, and or social interactions.
And not only does it cover NASP Standard 5, but also Standard 4, which states that the physically literate individual exhibits responsible personal and social behavior that respects self and others.
Speaking of respecting self and others, tell me more about the issues you were having with your volleyball player at Starkville High.
So I helped coach Starkville High volleyball team, and I started in May, and we had this girl that all summer, she just wasn't motivated to do anything, didn't respond to anything the coaches said, and just didn't care genuinely about anything that had to do with volleyball. She was just there as like something to do, I guess, take up time. And so we found out that if you yell at her, she doesn't respond at all. Like she, in fact, does worse on purpose just to annoy you. And so we found that if we put positive reinforcement with every negative reinforcement, then or constructive criticism, then she responded great. So now when she makes a mistake, you can say, "Hey, you're doing great, but just switch this up a little bit. Like put your arm higher and snap when you hit the ball, or don't uncross your hands when you're passing, but you're doing great. Like you're gonna get it the next time." And so also always being positive to her is the key.
Right. I'm so glad that y'all found a way to motivate her. That's a great example of adjusting to every student's personal needs.
Well, I hope you enjoyed our video presentation, learned a little bit about physical settings and motivation in the classroom. These two things are really essential in a PE setting.
Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.